All right, we are live. Mr. Felix, welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
All right, man, we've got this going. Oh, gosh, no, hold on, 2 seconds. All right, now I had to mute sorry, my channel went live and I wasn't paying attention. We are starting right now. All right, Mr. Felix, we are excited. We are here. We're going to be talking about the balanced data slate. Um, this is a very exciting day, and a lot of people have been waiting for quite a while. I just feel like, well, we need to mention a few things real fast. One of the things that we're doing is we're not actually going to go through every single points update. Instead, what we're going to do is we will be going over the things that matter, like what is actually changing the game today. How is the game different today than it was yesterday? And that is what we're really going to be talking about. Um, so that's what we're going to be doing. And I think we just get right into it. So let's take the first thing, massive changes to core rules, right? First question I have for you, Mr. Felix. Did this data slate fix the problems with 10th that we had?
It fixed a few things. Didn't fix everything, but it did help on a lot of fronts, I would say.
Okay.
They actually addressed way more issues than I thought they would.
Yeah, right. I think they hit like an astronomical amount of things. Now, question for you. What did they miss in your opinion?
Indirect.
Okay, yep. I would agree with that. They did miss indirect. Um, cool. And
Twice, I
if
think it's
outside of
most.
that, the only other thing I think they actually really missed, and this is just being a nitpicky bitch, overall, I think the game's in a very good position right now. The only thing besides the indirect that they missed, in my opinion, is the stupid pile-in rules. I think if they should have just gone ahead and gotten rid of the you have to base if possible. But you know what? I'm not really going to complain too much because overall things are really good. Now, did they ruin anything? That's my question for you. Did you see anything that they ruined?
A few armies, probably.
Okay, yeah, some people's hopes and dreams. That's probably true. Overall, I think only one army got done truly dirty, and then there were a few armies that got over nerfed, but they're still going to be playable. There's only one army, and we'll get into which army that was completely over nerfed. For everyone just joining us, this is probably going to be maybe a 30-40 minute stream. We're going to be going critically over all the super important details of the game. And we're going to be talking about how this game is fundamentally different today. We're not going to talk about every single individual unit point change, but we're going to be talking about all the rules, especially that are now changed. All right, so Felix, let's just jump into this thing. We're going to talk about some of the core rules changes. So we have changes to free stratagems and other stratagem things, right? Do you want to take this one?
Sure. We'll kind of go between us. So core rules changing. Well, let's start with tower not getting the double tap on
No,
skeleton
no.
when
So
you go down.
let's
Oh,
just
sorry.
organize this just by stratagems. So
Oh, fair point.
yeah, like how did the exact the stratagems themselves change? Like the way that you can use
Right.
free stratagems, the
Okay.
way that you vet, that type of. That's what
Yeah.
we're talking about first.
So Vect is probably one of the best changes, I think. So it only works on, you can only reduce the CP and increase the CP cost of battle tactic stratagems now, which is a
Yes.
huge change.
Yes, a massive freaking change. As a matter of fact, I went through it, and a lot of people might not realize this, but there's only two battle tactics that are the generic stratagems, and that is only command reroll and go to ground. Those are the only two. Everything else is an epic deed or war gear or a whatever. The only two of the generic stratagems are battle tactics: command reroll and go to ground.
Right, so we have someone in the chat. Vect, so Vect means you increase the cost of a stratagem by 1 for the entire game.
Yeah, thank you for your question,
Uh,
guys. We should have specified that, so that was my fault. So thank you for asking that, so we could clarify for you.
but yeah, that is a massive change, and it also kind of changes what stratagems you can Vect for on a specific army.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them are battle tactics, but there are a few for Orks, for example.
Mm-hmm.
They can still Vect -1 to wound, but they cannot Vect our fight on death anymore,
Right.
which is pretty huge when you're talking about like world leaders who might go up now.
Yeah. So I mean, they're definitely still going to be trying to vect our Arder's nails, but you're probably going to see a lot less of those vect abilities in the game. You're probably not going to see people who are taking two different sources of vecting because honestly, you have a very limited amount of strategies that you can really use it on. The other part of this I think is really important is now your Space Marine captains and your custodians and all of these guys. the free stratagems that they get to use is only battle tactics. Oh, okay, so that is a completely different game. So this whole like spamming free stratagems, that's basically out because you can only use it on battle tactics, which while it's still good and strong, they also went back and they reclassified several of these stratagems. So Custodes, their fights first ability that everyone hates, it's not a battle tactic anymore. So that can't ever be used for free. So that
Everyone
is
enjoyed that.
well, I enjoy the hell out of it. But yeah, so
Oh
those
yeah.
are crazy stratagem changes. Then that dramatically changes the entire game. Um, do you want to talk to us about how Overwatch changed?
Oh, wonderful,
Yeah,
wonderful. So two things. It needs line of sight now, so
I love
can't
it.
be indirect fire like Desolation firing at the OFA moment. I don't think we'll see Desolators anywhere, but then you can't use it on Titanics. So the big knights with the million guns, that's also gone.
So yeah, and hey, question for you: was Titanic even a keyword before this? Because I thought there was only
Uh,
towering. I don't think I think they added Titanic into all the data sheets. I
they
don't
did,
know this.
they did.
Okay, all right, all right, cool. I just making sure because I don't think that existed until today.
It did not. They basically went, oh no, Titanic can't use it. And the entire community went, wait, we have Titanics? But
That's
yeah, we
hilarious.
all kind of know. But we all kind of know what a Titan is, anyways.
Yeah, but I think
So
there's some weird ones. Like, and guys, this one I might not be correct on, but I'm pretty sure like the Tyranid Exocrine counts as Titanic. Um,
oh,
so there are some strange ones in there, and once again, don't quote me exactly on that, but I know there's some things that aren't towering that
oh
did get the Titanic keyword. So like, be aware of that
no,
in your
wait,
games.
there has to have been Titanic keyword before because Mossrog had the ability to get +1 damage against Titanics.
Oh, I thought he was against Tower. Okay, maybe I'm just maybe I'm just a lunatic,
Might be.
and I'm just stupid. It's entirely possible. Anyway, so now Overwatch, guys, you can't use indirect to Overwatch, and you can't use your Titanic units. So honestly, Overwatch got a lot less super strong. And guess what? Overwatch is not a battle tactic, which means the debate is done. You will never double Overwatch again unless it is a very specific ability like the Hexmark Destroyer's ability to Overwatch a second time. Outside of that,
Thank
you will
goodness.
never Overwatch twice again. So it is done. There's no more debate. Anyone who wants to argue with you is freaking wrong. So, all right. So next one, battle shock rules. One of the big complaints that some people were having, or maybe not complaints, but I guess jokes that we were having at GW's expenses was they added this whole battle shock mechanic into the game. And then basically everyone went ahead and said, lol, we don't care. Because you gave us a stratagem that allows us to use it for free to just ignore any battle shock. So battle shock never has any consequences. So Games Workshop went in.
This was.
Do you think this
Oof.
matters? Do you think this matters, Scoot?
I think it does for some armies.
Well,
I think it matters.
Well, go ahead and explain what it is, and then tell us why it matters.
So the way they changed. So how it used to be was you could use this once per phase, like
Mhm.
any other stratagem. And if you failed this after you rolled, if you have failed a battle shock test, you would just ignore it for 1 CP, which just meant you didn't care because if you had to score something, you just said, it's fine. Now it is completely different. It's hard luck to once per game. So kind of like the old days where you can only pass morale once, but now you also do it before you roll. So it's you can't roll to see and like take the leap of faith anymore. Just maybe I can make it. Now you do this like before, so it's a massive difference.
In my opinion, I think that's a huge freaking deal because it's going to do a couple things. One, people are not going to score nearly as much primary as they used to because you used to be able to rely
Yeah.
on, dude, I'm going to pass this, and then screw it. If I don't, I'll spend the CP. Now you only get to try once, and you don't want to spend that CP because you have no idea if you would have passed it anyway. But then two, now I think we actually see a value in having some of those abilities that for free unbattle shock you. Like I know the
Yeah.
custodians have enhancement that does it. There's several different armies that have like little things, and I think we'll see a lot of those rules coming out because they're very important now.
Yeah. Also to note, you cannot CP reroll a battle shock test.
Yeah, that's actually a really important one. There's certain things you can CP reroll, and there's certain things that you can't. Actually, why don't I just since we're here, maybe I'll just pull up a list of, or do you have it in front of you, Cooper, by any chance?
I do not currently.
Just give me two. 2 seconds, and then I'll just pull it up while I have you talk about the next subject here, or while I request for you to talk about the next subject here. All right, so that was Battle Shock, guys. Next thing, Devastating Wounds. Devastating Wounds, they're no longer mortal wounds. Oh shit!
We
Complete
love this.
big difference. Mr. Cooper, take it away. I'm gonna find those rules real quick
Yeah.
while you talk about this one.
So the big change now is before, when they become mortal wounds, we have the huge damage of the spillover. So a huge anti-tank gun with dev wounds could be super effective against single high wound targets. Like
It's
you,
super effective.
but they could also be super effective against the small targets.
You say that, and I keep thinking about Pokemon when you use the super effective.
Yeah, but it's just it gave people a powerful gun that was super strong against everything, which is bad design. We saw what happened with Wraith Knights. Now, what they've changed is a devastating wound isn't just you can't roll a save against it. You can still roll a feel no pain, but not a save. And the big difference here is spillover gone. So you can't shoot a Wraith Knight and kill 10 boys anymore.
So now it's you just don't get a save against it, but there's no spillover. So people are going to get confused by this, right? Because people are saying, oh, but it's like mortal wounds are different now. No, mortal wounds are not different. Mortal wounds are the exact same as they used to be. Devastating wounds are different. Devastating wounds are no longer mortal wounds. They're just you get 0 save. So that's the difference that I want everyone to get in your heads. It's not mortal wounds that have changed. They haven't. Mortal wounds are exactly the same as they've always been. Devastating wounds is different.
Yeah, I think it's a great change.
Yeah, I agree. Now, it does very sadly negatively affect my loves because the Custodes essentially no longer have a detachment rule, but, you know.
Yeah. So for anyone confused, the Custodes have the 4-up feel no pain against mortal wounds. And there's not a lot of mortal wounds in the game when devastating wounds is gone from that. So yeah.
So as you guys can all see, I'm rocking a shirt that might have a different logo on it. It's not it's not the Custodes. It might be a different form of Du Bois. Okay, cool. So I do have it pulled up here. So everyone, so if you're using the command reroll stratagem, all right, you can only use it on a few rolls. The only types of rolls that you can use the CP reroll on is hit roll, wound roll, damage roll, saving throw, advance, charge, desperate escape test. I actually didn't realize that one. And a hazardous test. That's it. So you cannot use it on anything else. So you can't re-roll one of your psychic tests that you use in the command phase. You cannot re-roll a battle shock test. Okay?
Yeah.
So that's that. Did you have something else to say there?
We do have a question.
Oh,
questions. Would you say that Dev Wounds is a side grade in general? No, I would say it's a nerf right now. But it's a good nerf.
Yeah, it's an appropriate nerf that's going to make the game a little bit less lethal, which is really good because one of the things that they promised with 10th edition was that it's a less lethal edition, and that was nonsense. 10th edition was not less lethal at all.
Yeah. So the Dev Wounds, it kind of changed everything. So Creevy in the chat. So Custodes really hate this because now they don't have feel no pain, but also it just spills over, doesn't spill over, but they just can't deny it, so it avoids the mortal wound feel no pain. But it's mostly against.
Yeah, dev wounds are currently more impactful against elite armies than they are against hordes. They used to be way worse against hordes. Now they're way worse against elite armies, essentially, right?
Yeah. And it's a great change. Honestly, I'm surprised.
Next amazing change. I actually don't think this is the way I would have done it, but this basically completely works. I do want to say, lol, guys, if you didn't put your monolith on the table, you missed your chance, because now you never will. Basically, towering. Here's the deal with towering, guys. It doesn't exist anymore. The only difference between a towering model and a normal model is towering just has to be within terrain to be able to see through terrain, whereas a normal model has to be wholly within terrain. That's the only difference. That's it. So
yeah. So basically, towering plays 9th edition and non-towering plays 10th edition. That's a great way to think about it.
Which is really good for a lot of people. It's gonna stop a lot of feels bads. And I actually, when we get to it, guys, the one army which got actually obliterated, which is Imperial Knights, I'm gonna actually pour one out for my homies because that was nonsense how bad they got done in this data slate. But yeah, towering needed to change, and this is a great change for the game. I'm really glad it happened.
To be
Also,
fair,
oh yeah, go ahead.
this means the old towering models can now
All towering.
hide behind range.
It does. It does. So finally, guys, lull your Stompa, which didn't go down in points at all. But you can now hide it, I guess, if you want.
Yeah. No, why would you need to buff the Stompa when you needed to buff the Grots? Come on.
Oh my gosh. Augustin Gutierrez, and if I screwed your name up, I'm really sorry. In-depth orc changes video when you know you wanna. You're 100% correct. I do wanna. I know Felix here wants to. But today we're just gonna get you the rules changes, and I'll be talking, or I'm sure we'll both be talking about it really in depth. If you want to know our thoughts a little bit sooner, you should join that freaking Happy Crump and Wargaming Discord, which I will drop a link down here. We want to see all of you guys in there. There is a very robust free section where you guys get to chat all about, and then there is a members only section, which is people who want to support the channel. But basically, all knowledge and all information is always free, so we love everyone there, whether you want to you're able to financially support us or not. So this is a great opportunity. Let me drop it in a chat right now. Join us on Discord, and we'll get you that information a little bit sooner. But that will be coming to YouTube, I'm certain, like within days. Okay, so that was towering. Now, this is another one of the really big core rule changes that happened. We've got different min and maximum unit sizes. Felix, how do you feel about this?
I love it.
Do you think this is all right? No, I think it's good on the units that this was done to. But do you think this is a good way for GW to be actually balancing things? That's more my question.
Right. So yes and no. I would say certain buffs can be too powerful on a super big unit, and in those situations, I think it's a good tool instead of just nerfing the points to Kingdom Come.
Okay.
You can still keep the effectiveness of the model, but you can just remove that super deadly combo, like 10 Guardians with Fight First or whatever, just because of a massive buff that generates too much value. I think minimizing the squad size, I hope they do this for commandos as well, not yet. But I think it can be a tool if it's used correctly, and that's pretty much it, I think.
Yeah, I think this is a fairly good way for them to actually balance, but they're gonna have to be really careful with this because this is a great way to screw things up a lot.
Yeah.
I think the big changes that we saw, I kind of have them listed here for you guys, is Desolation Marines are now maximum 5. I think that's a great way of nerfing Desolation Marines. Now, I also think they screwed up because now Desolation Marines are also 40 points per model, which is stupid when you also reduce them to only 5-man squads. I think they should have done one, not both, right? Because now Desolation Marines are basically useless.
I think they should have done a points hike, but not that much.
I mean, that was dude, they went from I think they went from 20 to 30 to 40, which is just unbelievable when you couple that with they also have the maximum unit size. So while I think this is a cool balancing mechanism, I also think Games Workshop is going to have to understand that this is a balancing mechanism all on its own. You don't necessarily have to couple this with the points as well. Custodes are now max 5. Exaction squads are now minimum 10. So these are some of the most impactful ones. I'm sure there's other ones that were around, but those are the really impactful ones for armies I saw. We got a few questions here in chat. Hank Utah wants to know, when are we getting a 2-Stompa list? Never! It's not happening! Not on this channel.
Oh my god, no.
A different channel.
Oh, don't bring up the Stompa. Oh,
that would be a blast to play. Don't get me. Maybe I'll do it for like a meme video one day, but not when I'm actually trying to help people get better at the game.
And now it can't even Overwatch.
Tom Blackburn. Alaris are still 6-man max. Yeah, Alaris are still 6-man max. They did go up in points. They went up to 70 points each. Totaface wants to know, does he still take Moz? What do you think about this, Mr. Felix? Do we still take Moz?
Yes.
Dude, he's amazing. The guy is a straight up Chad. He's so good, and he didn't go up any points. And I thought for sure he was going up in points. So
same.
Hell yeah, I think Orks dodged a bullet. We'll get into our initial impressions over each individual codex, like how we think each individual codex is kind of made out. But basically, uh, I think Orks did pretty well. Sorry, my lights are getting a
Yeah,
little funky here. I have to fix it.
yeah,
There we go.
yeah. And for once, you actually have a reason to go for the Votan index with me later.
Yeah, so we're actually going to talk about Votan, and if you guys are watching, tomorrow night Cooper and I will actually be doing a practice match where I'll be running the Orcs and he'll be running Votan because Votan got a big boost. So make sure to
Oh
check
yeah,
that out. Okay, cool. So let's move on to the next
yeah,
slide.
yeah, yeah. I do want to bring up. I'm
Yeah, go
happy
ahead.
GW has kind of removed their coward boots and actually make changes
Yeah, I agree actually.
because in the past they've made so super small nerfs, super small buffs, and nothing really happened.
Mhm.
No, I just built my Votan list. It went down like 350 points. Like they actually did stuff, and they pretty much quadrupled the detachment rule. So yeah,
Yeah,
they buffed stuff now.
I think this is the best balance patch that we've had. GW do.
I agree. I agree.
There's definitely things I think that could have been done a little bit better, but like, who the hell am I to criticize? Because this is clearly the best they've done, and I've been saying it all along. Every time I'm getting upset with a GW, I have to remind myself, dude, every single time they do anything, they're doing it better than they used to. So,
Yeah,
bravo, right?
I
Um,
do predict this will be the most balanced time of 40k in a long time. Where we're
yeah,
at right now.
we'll have some thoughts about that when we get into it. Big Kahuna wants to know about the 3 gargantuan squiggoth list, and uh, get out of here. I now here's the deal. I actually am considering a gargantuan squiggoth. I don't think it's actually that bad a choice right now. I'm actually I'm thinking about it. All right, so let's talk about some of the new really big changes here. Cooper, you want to talk to us about the eligibility the shoot change?
Oh yeah, so this was great. So the eligible to shoot is something they had a lot of rules kind of hinge on and depend on, but they never really defined it well. There was a lot of questions are you eligible to shoot when you're not having a gun, which they have in the rule now. But this is the big thing. When you have a shot, you are no longer eligible to shoot. Now, why is this important? Tau. Because Tau can be,
Yes.
they used to be like, I will spot you when you shoot, and then someone else will spot me when I shoot, and then someone will spot that one. It just kind of went ring and rose, and everything could spot everything. Now they actually have to do things in tag teams. Like one will be a spotter, one will be the shooter, or the guide the unit. So they can't like switch roles, which is basically halving their buffing.
Okay. Yeah, pretty much. And I think it's really important to remember, like this little keynote right here, guys, is why it's very important. Because if they had not done this, then this would have been a terrible balance update. Because Tau could be your new lords and masters. So this change
Yeah,
is really important. There's no
yeah.
longer any
And
argument. You
nobody
cannot
wants that.
you cannot be a guider and a spotter, or a guided, or it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
You can't do both.
nobody likes the Tau.
Yeah,
Nobody likes the Tau.
except for the
Oh, big
people
thing
who do.
also here.
Yeah.
When a Tau will be a spotter now,
Hmm.
that means that unit, even if it doesn't shoot or anything, so this means he actually cannot shoot when he's a spotter, I think. But
No,
also
they
he
they
can't.
can they can still shoot. They just can't be guided.
They're not.
Yeah.
But then they cannot do actions either.
No, yeah, I mean you can't shoot and then do an action. No, absolutely
No,
not.
no. But I don't think you should not be able to spot. No, no, you are able to shoot. Never mind.
Yeah, yeah, you're still able to shoot. You're not able to do it and do an action, right?
Yeah.
Um, but the next really big change, and this is just a quality of life improvement that I have no idea why it wasn't implemented immediately. Vehicles
You're
are
still.
back to hulls. Oh, yeah, vehicles are back to having hulls. It's such a nice thing. You now measure
Yeah.
to and from the hull for all rules purposes, whether it's engagement range, whether it's measuring for deep strike purposes. Because remember, previously, technically, you could deep strike 9 inches away and make a 5 inch charge into a Doomsday Arc. It was
So
really.
dumb.
So it's like they fixed it. So all your vehicles, any part of the hull is engagement range. It's where you measure from. It's where you draw. It just simplifies the game so much. It's such a huge improvement to the core part of the game. Um, yeah, so I'm a very, very massively huge fan of this. Um, let's talk about a few of the changes that we actually saw with the individual armies here. But it's not the biggest deal. So basically, we'll just kind of rapid fire some of these things. Adeptus Custodes. Okay.
Oh,
uh, they're done. They got massive nerfs. They got big points nerfs across the board. They now their fights first is an epic deed stratagem, so awful. That really sucks. So
no
they
doubt
can't
that.
use it for free. Their squad maximum squad size dropped from 10 to 5, and points went up everywhere except for Sagittarium, which went down. But Sagittarium are awful right now, and Venatori did go down. They're still too expensive, but they did go down, which makes me think that one day I'll be able to use them. I am actually hanging the Custodes up for right now. That doesn't mean they're necessarily a bad army. I do think that we're going to see them still hanging on to a 48 to 50% win rate. I think they'll still be right in the sweet spot. But they're definitely going to drop a huge peg. They're not going to win tournaments again. So that's just kind of where they are. Adeptus Mechanicus, they got a quick rule update. So basically, you're going to give them all their Rangers and the Skitarii Vanguards. They're going to be having a 4 armor save and a 5 invuln. Really nice. Eldar. Eldar now Phantasm only contacts infantry. This is still the most broken stratagem in the entire game. It's just less broken than it previously was.
Yeah, it's still super good.
Oh, it's not only super good; it's still broken good.
Broken.
But it is a
Like,
hugely less broken than it previously was, which is really cool. Death Guard, actually, guys, do not freaking sleep on Death Guard. Death Guard look gross right now. They got massive points cuts, and their new ability is really awesome. So check this. At the beginning of the game, they get to declare one of these 3 auras, and this is what their I don't know, aura of contagion does. So you can do Skull Squirm Blight, which if you're ever within contagion range of them, they're -1 to your ballistic skill and weapon skill. Rattle Joint aura, you can choose this one instead. If you're ever within contagion range, worsen the save characteristics of models in that unit by 1. Notice it doesn't say add 1 to your AP. So if you're going against things like the Orc Battle Wagon, which ignores 1 AP, their save is worsened by 1. They're not ignoring AP. And then you've got this. The other one is the Scabrous Soul Rot, which means worsen the leadership and OC of models by 1. So
I think
Death
that
Guard
was
are
super strong.
all 3 of them are actually great. So it's actually I think it's looking great because all 3 of them are really good. I got to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Another army that kind of got boned here. I'm just going to talk about 2 more armies here, and then I'm going to let Cooper talk for a bit. And so Gene Stealer Cults, they no longer just come back to life. Instead, in the first and second battle round, they come back to life on a 3-up for their battle line or a 4-up for everything else. And then rounds 4 and 5, they come up to life, back to life on a 4-up for their battle line or a 5-up for everything else. So Gene Stealer Cults took a punch to the face. They're still going to be real good, but they're not going to be unbelievably, hey, it's the end of the game. How does this guy still have 2,000 points on the table when I've already killed 2,000 points? That's really nice. And then lastly, guys, the Imperial freaking Knights. Holy shit, they are done. You no longer get bondsman abilities for the big knights.
Yeah, it's a huge difference.
Pour one out for your homies, guys. Pour just pour it out.
Oh, right.
It's just so bad.
Some other armies, of course.
Yeah, all right. So now let's talk about some of the. I thought this would be fun. Can you see the screen, Coop?
I can. I'm like 10 or 15 seconds behind like everyone else, but I can see it.
All right. So basically, what I thought we would do is we can go through each army here, and we're not going to talk about like every individual point change. But I thought what would be fun is if like we just give a data slate grade, like for example, who's the biggest loser, right? Imperial Knights, lol, get F nerd, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what their rating is. So what we can do is let's just start with Sisters. Like, how did Sisters make out? Generally speaking, they got some gentle points reductions or points buffs. So how did they make out of this balance, this data slate? What do you think?
Better, but not massively better.
I think they're still in a terrible position, and this balance data slate did almost nothing for them.
Yeah, it's a small buff, but I don't think it's enough.
Yep. Yeah, they just got a very small buff. Maybe it's going to be a little bit more fun for them to play because some of the super powerful armies are definitely toned down. But I think they're a really rough spot. Custodes, what do you think happened to them?
Oh boy, that was a huge loser.
Ooh, get wrecked. Now
Yeah,
they are still probably going to be hanging out in that 48-50% win rate area, I think. I don't think they're
they're
as
gonna.
bad as people really think they are, but you're not seeing them win tournaments anymore.
Yeah,
Um,
I think they're
and
gonna be like high B tier maybe.
maybe I don't know. I don't know. I think they're going to stay within that B tier level,
Yeah, somewhere
maybe.
middle to high.
But the reason why I think this for them is because their units are still quite good. But
Yeah.
man, that everything went up in points, and none of their Forge World stuff got better to compensate for it.
Yeah.
So like their entire army just went up dramatically. Um, I think that's really, really quite hard for them to recover from. So Custodes are not looking super happy right now. It doesn't mean that their army is completely ruined, but I can tell you that my army went up by I think 200 points, and
Oh shit.
that's not good. So that's not
And
great.
had yeah.
Um,
Uh, Admech.
AdMech. AdMech actually are a big winner. They got really good points buffs, and they got an update to their Skitarii Vanguards veterans. So now those guys all have a 4 armor save and a 5 invuln that makes them a lot more durable. And they got points buffs across the board. They did not fix the detachment ability. I don't know why they didn't do it.
It's so bad. Uh, it's just a useless detachment ability. Turn one, just say, I'll take the battle shock, and then maybe on what is it like 3+, I'll take one more to wound on the turn 2 to 5.
Yeah, it's like it's just not a good art
Yeah.
rule because it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
But I think we're going to see them over 40%. I think AdMech players who are diehard AdMech players and are still playing AdMech are going to be happy. But I think they're also going to be salty that they didn't get the detachment changed, right?
Yeah.
I think if they had a functioning detachment rule now, they're probably right at the level where they probably need to be. They just don't have a functioning detachment rule, and that's a really big deal.
I agree. I agree.
Well, what do you think about the Eldar? Those Orks.
Well, you've already laid out the top army, but they're not as impressive anymore. I think they're just going to be a really good army that's beatable.
They just yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I still think they're going to be at 60% win rate. To be honest with you,
That's
they
not
got a
really.
few points nerfs. So the Incarn went up by 80 points, which I think is the biggest points nerf of any model in the game. And guess what? You're still taking her.
Yeah, she's great.
She's not auto include anymore, but she's still very reasonably priced, and she's still pretty freaking amazing. Um, and then I know we went up a decent amount with the big pew pew guns. What are they called? Fire prisms. Any other army in the entire game is still gonna be so jealous that they don't have access to those. Eldar
Mm.
just doesn't need them because they're freaking awesome. I think Eldar is still in a great freaking position. Phantasm is still the most busted stratagem I think that has
Yeah,
ever existed. To be honest with you, they're
yeah.
just it's
And
so freaking good.
then fate dice and
Ugh.
reroll. Like the reroll is so it's so good.
But that's the thing about Eldar guys. They're not going to be oppressive to play against anymore because you're going to be actually playing a game. It's not like you just show up and they're going to table you anymore. Now you're going to be able to play a game, so you can beat them now. So now
Yeah,
I'm going to actually like I know I'm going to sit down. I'm going to make a video on how do we beat Eldar. I didn't do it previously because there was no point because they were just playing a different game. But they're not. They're playing
yeah,
the same game now. They just happen to be a little bit better at it, and I'm actually pretty happy with that.
yeah. I during this week I've played 3 games against LR, and boy,
Ugh.
2 at the GT and 1 in the stat check top 8 play, which I lost quickly.
Yeah, she's so bad. Oh man, I hate playing her. I'm actually really excited to play him now. Look, yeah. All right. So Imperial Guard. Imperial Guard took a lot of points cuts. So they actually are looking pretty damn solid. Those tank regiments are back. I think your average, not Rogodorn, Lehman Russ went down by what was it, 30 points? Like that's
That,
significant.
yeah, and then also they have the Revive 3 Sentinel bullshit still going.
Yeah, Imperial Guard are actually going to be in a good position. I think they're still going to have the same problem with like how do they hold objectives, but since they're going to be able to shift to tanks, they can actually just roll on up and move on up,
Yeah,
which is actually I think quite good for them. So I think
yeah,
Imperial
because you
Guard
don't.
guys should be happy.
Yeah, you just don't kill guards. You just score points and have a boring game.
Yeah, you don't have to bother killing them. Of course, if you're the Orks, you always try to kill. If you're my Orks,
Yeah.
maybe not your Orks, my Orks though, we always try to kill. That's probably why I don't have as consistent a rate as you. um, Space Marines. So looking at Space Marines, guys, overall speaking, your Blood Angels and your Black Templars are ecstatic. Holy crap, these guys are happy because those Crusader blobs went down in points, Sanguinary Guard went down in points. I think the average Blood Angel Black Templar list that some of my buddies were running went down by like 200 points. They're super happy. And then your Dark Angels, which were already really good, are super freaking happy because they escaped any nerfs. And they were already almost as good at melee as the Custodes were. So they didn't escape. They just escaped all nerfs. So your Dark Angels players are thrilled right now, guys. Space Marine players are in a good spot. Maybe not every single chapter, but Space Marines as a whole are looking pretty good right now.
Yeah. Thankfully, no Desolation Marines anymore, but they're still good.
Desolation Marines are gone, so we're going to see a bunch of the other really good things that Space Marines have going for them now.
Don't forget, Inceptors are still a thing, and they are great.
Inceptors are freaking awesome, man. Yeah, don't sleep on those guys. Okay, did you happen to look at the demons?
I haven't had too much to look at it. I've seen some talk in the Swedish team, sir. They weren't too super happy.
Yeah, man, demons. They get hit, man. All their big boys went down. So we're gonna see what happened to demons. I think overall they're generally speaking kind of neutral right now because they're gonna have to build different lists. The big boys all get more expensive. The little guys all get cheaper. Nurgle demons, I think, had the biggest percentage of improvements in points.
Did the Great Unclean one? Did he go up or down?
Yeah, I don't remember. Let me see if I can pull him up for a second. Go ahead and do me a favor while I do this. Why don't you talk about what happened to CSM?
So CSM, I don't think too much happened really. They're still gonna be pretty strong. Haven't looked too much into changes. I've been focusing a lot.
Yeah, so CSM basically the way that happened with CSM is they are completely side graded. So basically, nothing bad has happened to them. I know Abaddon went up by like 30 points. Forge Fiends went up by 15 points each. Your Obliterators went up by 10 points. Chosen got cheaper, which were already amazing. So it's like they just side graded. Basically, all their points in costs were paid for by points decreases elsewhere. I think you're going to see Chaos Space Marines stock go up a bunch. Yeah, the Greater Unclean one. He looks like he got about 25 points cheaper at least. He's at 250 points now. Yeah.
He's hard to chew through.
Yeah, the Greater Unclean one is hard to chew through. He's what? He's like a T12, 20 wound model that's got a 4-up Field of Pain. Or yeah, he's
so it's a 5-up Field of Pain, but in Shadow Chaos it's a 4-up.
Yeah, with the enhancement, it's just always a 4-up.
Yeah.
So
no?
Yeah.
I don't think so. It's only a 4-up in the Shadow Chaos with that.
Irrelevant.
He doesn't have it.
All right, fine. You win. You win this round, sir. You win this round. All right, Death Guard. All right, Death Guard. Very exciting, guys. Huge winners. Huge winners. Do not sleep on these guys. Now, I don't think you're going to be seeing Death Guard topping the charts. They're not. But you're going to see these guys at that 52% win rate. And you're going to be like, oh, Death Guard, I got to win here. And then you're going to be like, what the hell just happened when they clean your clocks? Because they got huge points drops across the board. Mortarion dropped from 365 to 325. Your Plagueburst Crawlers dropped. Your Blight Lords dropped. Your Death Shroud dropped. Everything dropped. Your Poxwalkers are only 50 points now. And they have a really good functioning that is adaptable to the army they're going into's special rule, because now they can use one of those 3 auras we spoke about. Death Guard are looking great. Drukhari, I know you're looking at picking them up. How are they feeling right now?
I was not happy. So I just, for anyone who doesn't know, a couple of days ago I bought an entire Drukhari army, like 5,000 or 6,000 points.
Good timing.
A real good deal. Not good in the future, the meta comes around. Basically, Venoms stayed the same. Ravagers went up like 20 points. Scourges went down a little. Basically, the one good unit we had was Ravager having 3 Dark Lances. Got nerfed, and Scourges are good. They got a little cheaper.
Okay.
We didn't really get a lot of changes at all.
Pretty side
To
grady.
be fair. Yeah, kind of. Not even that, honestly. Which has got a little. Something's got a little bit cheaper, and our one good unit got like more expensive. So I don't know. We have to explore them. FIXED might not, probably not. I think they're kind of at the same level. Side grade kind of, but
I
same
already thought Drukhari were a lot better than people thought they were. I know our team, we were very, very close to bringing them to WTC. They just got edged out by Chaos Knights.
level.
So
You need a brain to play Drukhari because mana metrics.
that is very fair. That's very fair. GSC, they got beat up, but they got some points nerfs.
He's already dead.
No, they're not dead by any way. They got some strong points nerfs, and they got a rule nerfs because now your models in the later rounds are only coming back to life on a 4-up if they're battle line or a 5-up if they're not battle line. However, these guys will still kill you. They're still gonna kill the hell out of you. What are they saying?
I don't think it's Cooper. I think it's a JPG. Yeah, it's a picture. My laptop is doing repairs. Hopefully, I get it back tomorrow. But I don't have a camera. I'm using Discord on my phone right now.
No.
Did he walk so loud the camera exploded?
You guys are correct. He walked by shirtless, and the reflection off of his pale body just absolutely cracked that camera.
Oh, streaming shirtless is canon lore now. Oh, I love this.
But yeah, I still think we're going to see our GSC. They're going to be over 50%. I think we might still see them around the 55%.
I think there'll be a different army. I think people will start bringing aberrants.
People have already been doing that, my man.
Oh yeah, but they're going to bring it like that's going to be the common list.
Maybe we'll see. That's entirely possible because aberrants are disgusting. Then we have another really nice, some people who I think should be very happy. Grey Knights. They got some big points buffs.
Yeah, and Grey Knights are actually, if in the hands of a skilled player, they are great. I had the unfortunate but also lovely time against at the GT playing against the one in Team Sweden, Kalle. You should know who that is.
Mm-hmm.
He's one hell of a great player, and when he played the Grey Knights, I think he beat me 12-8. But every time he started jumping, he started Spotify and played Jump Around.
Jump! Yeah, dude, Grey Knights are going to be solid now. They
yeah.
I've been saying the entire time, Grey Knights need an extra 100 points in their army. So what did they get? They got an extra 200. So look out for Grey Knights, people. Look out. This is going to be a very interesting meta we're about to run into, guys. Imperial Knights, get wrecked, nerd. They're done.
Biggest loser in the entire game.
I think from any balanced data slate they've released, this is the worst they've ever nerfed an army.
Yeah, this was just bend over.
Dead. Yeah, just absolutely freaking dead. I feel so bad for them. I just feel so bad for them. It's like you can't run them. Imperial Knights are they're absolutely nothing. Leagues of Votan, you are. Let's see it, man. Talk to me.
I'm a very happy king today. So I think Votan got the biggest buff of all armies. I think now, does that make them great? I don't know. Nobody knows. And this way, nobody has played as or against Votan really. We don't know how this will affect the play.
Right.
What did happen was we won. Lists went down from between 300 and 400 points. So a lot of more units. And the big thing was also the detachment rule changed massively. So anyone who doesn't know, Votan have judgment tokens. 1 token means you have +1 to hit on that unit with your entire army. 2 tokens means you have +1 to hit and 2 wound against that unit with your entire army. Now, the detachment says, it used to be, you pick 1 enemy unit at the start of the game, and that one starts with 2 CP. 2 tokens. And if you kill it, you get CP depending on which battle round it is. So
Oof.
first turn was like 3 CP, second turn was like second and third were 2 CP, and fourth and fifth 5 CP. Now you start the game putting 2 tokens on 4 units. That means there's 4 units in the enemy army. The entire Votan army starts with +1 to hit and +1 to wound against. That's massive. Now, just note they don't gain more CP. You just get CP from the first one you kill. So it's not a massive CP, but it is a massive buff. And combine a massive army-wide buff that's like 4 times as good, and combine that with 300 to 400 point drops. We don't know where Votan is. They could be A tier, they could be B tier. We have no idea. We're gonna have to test and try.
Yeah, we'll play this tomorrow night if you guys want to check it. If you guys want to watch the game, I'll be streaming it for sure here on YouTube. And this will be my first game playing against Votan in 10th, and this will be Coop's first game playing against Votan in 10th. So it might be a little bit of a madhouse, but it's going to be a good time. Okay, so overall, Votan got awesome points buffs, and they got good rules buffs.
Massive winner.
So
Massive winner.
they're rocking. They're rocking the pump.
They went from unplayable to people actually looking at them.
Necrons. All right, so Necrons, guys, side grade. You're no longer going to see Lich Guards. You're no longer see DDAs because they got big points nerfs. Although I would say Lich Guard aren't actually nerfed that bad. I think they're just appropriately costed. Maybe actually still a little too cheap. But you know, Necron players, they can't have anything that's fair. So they so I'm joking. One of my best buddies is a Necron player, but I'm not joking because he's a dick. Anyway, so Lich Guard are out. DDAs are probably out. I still think DDAs are good though, but they have better options. So you're going to start seeing warrior spams. You're probably going to be seeing it with a Silent King and with Sandrak. So it's going to be a very different list, but they're going to be playing. Now, Necrons are really happy because they're always going to beat Eldar now. Eldar can't beat Necrons anymore because since Eldar don't have the spillover mortal wounds, they have no way of clearing the Krons. However, the next army is very excited for the Necrons changes, and that would be the boys. Cooper, why are the boys orcs? Why are the boys so excited about the Necron side grade?
Because we could not kill Necrons.
We couldn't kill them, but can we kill warriors?
Oh yes, we can. Oh, we don't even need to.
We can kill the hell out of some warriors.
Yeah. The best part is we just don't need to. We can just send some trucks in and say, well, try to kill this. You can't fall back and shoot with anything.
I mean, I'm sure they're going to be rocking the Royal Warden now, but still, yeah.
No, he doesn't have it.
The Royal Warden doesn't give you fallback and shoot?
Last edition.
Oh shit! What does he do this?
There's nothing in the entire Necron index that gives them fallback shoot. Nothing.
Really?
Yep.
That's kind of awesome. That's actually really awesome. Yeah, so I'm actually really excited about it. It's going to be a huge issue for a lot of armies, but for Orks, it's a much better matchup than it was a few days ago. So if you guys watched my live stream from last week, I was playing my buddy Shetzel, who's probably one of the best Necron players in the world, and it's a hard matchup because we can't get through this Lich Guard, and it's really hard to ignore Lich Guard because Lich Guard are still going to chew through most things that you put into them outside of like a beast boss on Squigosaur.
So just to answer your question, Royal Warden, he now gives the unit heavy and assault, and he also gives them a get out of jail free card when it comes to Badrock.
Oh, okay, that's cool. So Orks overall are very happy for the changes, not because Orks got huge point cuts. They did get some point cuts, and they got some point in nerfs as well. And they basically essentially just balance each other out. Like, I think my list went up by 20 points. I'm just going to change one thing, and it's going to be even better now, though. So it's like, it's neutral on the points, but because of how it affected GSC and how it affected Necrons and how it affected Custodes and how it affected freaking Eldar, Orks are very freaking happy. Oh, yeah, Imperial Knights. Orks are extremely happy now. I think you're going to start seeing Orks be a real threat. I don't think we're going to be seeing them in like the S tier, but they're solidly in the A tier right now, and they are going to be a real freaking problem. Not as much as a problem. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
I think you're going to put up Chaos Knights.
Let's just do this then.
just knows where are they?
No, you're right. So Chaos Knights right now, they got it's essentially they're not really affected by any of the rules.
Yeah.
They didn't really care about towering because they were running the mini knights anyway. Some of the knights went up by a little bit, some of them went down by a little bit. I think Chaos Knights are pretty happy because they had essentially no changes.
Yeah. It's not being touched is the best feeling usually.
So they're feeling quite good. And like I said, there's some things that went up by 5 points, some things went down by 5 points, but nothing really significant.
Mm.
Tau. All right, I'm telling it right now, everyone.
Oh
Tau
boy.
are your new Lord and Masters. You need to be anyone who's been sleeping on Tau. You're about to wake up because these guys are dangerous, and they just got a quarter of an army extra.
Yeah. And they have some really tanky units. The Ghost Kill, for example. So they're not easy to kill either.
All of their battle suits are rocking a 2-up armor save. So if you have the AP1, what do they care about? Because they're going to be in cover. Now, their entire army is vehicles. So here's the thing about Tau, right? Tau in this edition are essentially what I thought Eldar for last edition were. I think they have the potential, especially with these new points buffs, to be the best army in the entire game. I don't think you're going to see a ton of Tau just winning tournaments, though, because since they're all vehicles and you can't just fly them through walls anymore, they are very mentally intensive. And playing them at the high level without making any mistakes for 6 rounds in a row is going to be absolutely exhausting. So I don't think you're going to see them dominating many tournaments. This is very similar to what we saw last edition with Eldar and Ninth. Eldar in Ninth, I think, were still the best army in the game by far. It's just you never saw them win tournaments because you had to be so mentally engaged constantly. You'd get exhausted by the end of the tournament. But if you played them on TTS, Eldar killed everyone on TTS because it's just a one-off game. You can focus for one game. It's very different than focusing for 6 games where you're exhausted, right? I think that's what we're going to see with Tau in this edition because Tau, get ready to bow, people.
I already sort to think if playing fixed against them could be good.
I thought about it. It's going to be very easy to get Bring It Down. But man, I don't know, dude, because they will delete anything they look at. I'll tell you right now. I played against Crisis Suits 2 days ago.
They hurt.
4 of a unit of 6,
so much.
Not on hazardous, so they didn't overcharge. But 4 of them, not 3, 4 of them deleted a 10-man custodian brick.
Yeah,
and he didn't even have to roll the other 2, and that was without overcharging.
Yeah, they can.
Yeah. So get ready, guys. Then we have Thousand Suns. Thousand Suns are in the running for most heavily nerfed. Whew, they got some points cuts or some points nerfs. Ooh.
Yeah.
They GW really wanted to make sure that those armies that were like in tier 2 were not going to be tier 1. And that's what they did. They made sure that Thousand Suns and Custodes got knocked down.
Yeah. I was really afraid Thousand Suns would go by undetected and nobody would nerf him.
Man, yeah, but they got over-nerfed. They got done dirty.
Yeah.
They got done as dirty as Custodes did. Like, it was brutal how bad they got nerfed.
Yeah. It's a good day to be a git.
Yeah. And then we got 2 more, guys. We got 2 more, so just bear with us here. And by the way, if you're enjoying this content, do me a favor, bring a smile to Cooper's face. He broke his camera, but he'd be really excited if you liked and subscribed to the channel. And if you, even though it's not his channel, he just really would like it if you supported me. Bring a smile to this young boy's face. Anyway, let's get on to Tyranids, the Great Devourer. I've got a game against these guys on Saturday actually, which will be fun.
Awesome.
That'll be in person though. Maybe I'll do a handheld battle report for that. So Tyranids, I don't think they're happy about the data slate because they got some interesting points nerfs, but they should be very happy with the new codex they just got released because what that codex gives them is it gives them like 4 very legit. Oh, what is someone? Oh man. For the shirtless Coop. Oh jeez, you guys don't want shirtless Coops.
This is.
But yeah, okay. So they got some interesting points nerfs for them, but they have legit 4 different detachments that are highly competitive and are really good options for them. So like, I think Tyranids players are probably a little salty about points, but overall they should be feeling pretty good just about the amount of options that they have. So I'm gonna put it as neutral. Some Tyranid player in chat might just slap me and be like, "No, you're," but it is what it is. We're gonna reenact the Octarius War on Saturday. Lassa, he's there in chat right now. Get ready to get crumped, son. So that is Tyranids. Neutral. And then finally we have World Eaters. I want everyone to be worried about World Eaters because World Eaters are scary. These guys.
I think Custodes getting nerfed really opened the door for World Leaders.
Their points buffs that they needed and they just got. These guys are scary now. I'm telling you right now. You're going to be getting, man, they can get 6 units into you turn 1.
They are super fast.
They are, and they slap.
They can reroll so many dice to get their preferred result.
Yeah, these guys are these. There's a new Tyranid organism, but it's actually a Corrin organism, and it's called the Slap Effects. So that's what we have. So these guys are freaking excited. So guys, the main changes that I want everyone to really, really think about. How did this game get really, really different today? First off, you have changes to the way that you use your free stratagems, okay? So only battle tactics are available for the free stratagems, and you can only vet the battle tactics now. That's it. The only 2 generic stratagems that are battle tactics are command reroll and go to ground. Overwatch now requires line of sight, and you can't use it on a Titanic units. That's it. Then, Battle Shock rules, Insane Bravery is now once per game, and it's before or instead of rolling the die for the Battle Shock. Devastating Wounds, it's no longer Mortal Wounds. Don't get it confused in your head. Mortal Wounds still exist. Devastating Wounds just is not mortal anymore. Now Devastating Wounds is you cannot take a save. That's it.
Hey, we got a super chat.
Did we? Christopher, you beautiful SOB. How would I build Custodes list now? Oh, bro, Tato Chip. Let me get to that at the end here. Let me finish my spiel here, and then I'll get to that at the end. Thanks so much for the chat, brother. Appreciate your support. So then, yeah, your Devastating Wounds. It's no longer mortal. You're just ignoring armor saves now and invulnerable saves now. Then we have Towering. It essentially doesn't exist, so don't even worry about Towering anymore. And then the last big rules changes is that you go to the hull of the vehicles now. It's to the hull. That's a very big deal. It's a huge deal. Those are the rules changes. Everything else is going to be points. And there's a few like army specific things, but that's what changed with the game itself. Still be afraid of Eldar. Still be afraid of all those things, but you're going to be able to play them now. This game is very playable now. You don't have to worry about not getting able to. No 3 Caladius Gravity Tanks. Don't take 3 Caladius Gravity Tanks. Oh god, you dirtbags! Don't do it. Okay, so to answer the question, Christopher, right now I'm not entirely sure. I do think I'm going to be running Venatari. I think I'm going to be taking out. I'm probably going to keep my big brick of Terminators, to be honest with you. And I'm going to be running 2 5-mans of Custodian Guards, 1 5-man of Wardens, and then I'm probably going to try to drop in 2 bricks of the Venatari. That's probably where I would pivot onto Custodes. I'm going to have to think about it a little bit about it, though, because I haven't been able to put it on the table. But that's really what I'm thinking. I'm going to run 2 5-mans of Guards, probably each one with the Blade Champ. Trajan might not make it anymore, which kind of hurts my heart to say. But if he also might make it, so I'm not like for sure on that one. But yeah, the Alaris Terminator captain, he's probably still going in with the Terminators, and then I'm gonna drop at least 2 units of the Venatari Spears because Venatari Spears are disgustingly good. They need a few points decreases. Yeah, a Land Raider. A Land Raider is definitely possible because the Custodes Land Raider weirdly went down to 240 points, so it's now the best Land Raider and the cheapest Land Raider. So, you can come out of Strat Reserve and charge with that because you can get out and still charge, which is cool. I do think... Yeah, go ahead. You answer this one.
Do we think the Beast Pass is still worth the 100? Yes. I don't think you will not see 3 of them anymore. Somewhere around that. I think we'll see 1 to 2 in every list.
Yep. I'm planning on 2 right now.
Yeah. Like 80 points for it, it was severely undercosted. We all knew that. 100 points, yeah, it's fine. It can still do a lot of damage against vehicles. It's still worth it for sure.
Yep. Sisters of Silence. Yeah, Chris, I think we're gonna see them. Just because exaction squads you're not taking anymore because it's under 10 points. So you're gonna take you're probably just gonna replace a 35-point unit with a 40-point unit. So I think yeah, you'll probably see prosecutors now, just for that purpose.
Same but different, but still same.
Yeah, different but still the same. So everyone, if you have any last questions, go and type them in. Cooper, do you have any last thoughts on this on this update? Anything that people need to know about?
I think everyone needs to read the Votan index because nobody has done that. I have no idea if they're going to be good or not, but nobody really knows the rules.
Right.
Otherwise, I think we're going to be in one of the healthiest metas of a long time.
It's gonna be definitely a chaotic meta. It's gonna be a very chaotic meta. Jonathan C wants to know the best troops killers for orcs now. Knobs. Knobs are insane.
Oh,
Knobs are so freaking
knobs.
good now.
Why did they get buffed?
Knobs are so good now. I'm starting my orc list with 15 knobs. I'm gonna do a dedicated orc video, guys. I'm also gonna do a dedicated custodians video so that we can help everyone sort those out. But yeah, dude, knobs are freaking sick.
And Warboss went down for some goddamn reason.
Warboss and the knobs. I'm starting with 15 of them, whether that's a 10-man and a 5-man or 3 5-mans even, or like I think I'm going to be running 15 knobs in my list now.
It's hard to say no to that because that's 15 knobs that went down in total 45 points, including the war bosses.
It's and each one of them has the -1 to wound in bill. It's just it's really good. Guys, if you enjoy this content and you want to support Happy Corrupted Wargaming as we go along, check out my Coffee link. That's basically where if you want to support me financially, that's where you can do it. I do have a $4 membership plan, which gets you access to the premium membership category on my Discord, and there's a bunch of hosts of other benefits out there. I put out a video earlier this week that was requested by one of my members. You have constant interaction with me, and there's also now coaching. So I'll do a video on what coaching is what coaching entails here in just a little bit. Thanks everyone for tuning in today. Felix, man, thanks for popping on here with me. If you guys want to check out the game tomorrow, it's going to be free. Mr. Cooper and we're going to be here on YouTube. We're going to be talking shit to each other, and the orcs are going to crump some space dwarves. So it's going to be.
Oh, we'll see. You better believe that's grudging.
Oh, there's a grudge in it. So until next time, everyone, we love you. We appreciate you. And I hope